First up, the Humbird Bone conduction Bluetooth speaker, and it's probably not what you think it is. This tiny little metal object is some of the most fun I've had in tech in a very long time. If you just picked it up and started playing, it wouldn't sound very good at all. You'd kind of be wondering what on earth is going on. But this object is not a speaker in of itself, but can turn any other object into a speaker. I literally spent 3 full hours just placing it on different objects and seeing the quality of the sound I could produce. This is some of the most capable audio you can get in a package that size. Next up is the Flir One Pro, pretty much the highest grade thermal imaging camera you can buy for a phone. What it does is combines its own ability to capture infrared information with your smartphone's high resolution camera, and so you end up getting a pretty crisp looking result, especially as far as thermal cameras go. There's a free app that comes with it, which lets you configure a lot of the visual settings, and whilst a lot of its primary applications are in things like plumbing, if you had a real passion just to see the world around you differently, it can do that too. So this thing right here is the Caterpillar stand, a product that initially doesn't make a lot of sense, but then when you start to use it, you realize it is genius. A stand for your smartphone, but one that is not just incredibly flexible and able to hold the positions you stretch it into, but also one that is coated in sticky pads. This combination makes it one of the most versatile stands I've ever used. Your own creativity is pretty much the limit here. You could stick it to a bench, you could cling it onto a window, you could tie this thing around your bike handlebar. Okay, now for a product that comes from a company called Ubeesize, and there's 2 parts to this package. You've got one half which has a tripod in it, and the other half which contains a secondary box, inside of which you've got this pretty substantially sized felt bag, and when you open that up, a massive ring light. So there's a little bit of assembly required, but when you're done you've got this towering structure that is essentially all about helping you take the best front camera photos and videos. It comes with this little Bluetooth remote that lets you operate your phone from a distance, and the overall system working together gives you quite a professional result. The ring of light here is just large enough so that you do get that iconic halo effect in people's eyes. This is the Nuraphone, a way of listening to music that you may not have experienced before. It's basically a pair of headphones, but the design is such a departure from what headphones you're used to, they've actually tried to separate themselves from that notion. One of the first things you'll notice when you start to remove the packaging is that this thing takes seamlessness to its most extreme meaning. The case is magnetic, there is no zip, and even the cable case connects magnetically to the outer case. On top of that, they have no buttons. Bluetooth just starts when they're on your head and stops when you take them off. At this point, I was almost half expecting them to start charging themselves as well. They support active noise cancellation, but almost definitely the craziest part is that they have both an in-ear and an over-ear design to pump out not just clear vocals, but powerful bass. Welcome to a smartphone gadget that is definitely interesting. I'm not sure I could recommend buying it, but this is a Luminous smartphone case. This is one cheap product, and to be clear, 95% of the time it really looks it. But it does have one trick up its sleeve. To start using it, just head into your smartphone's accessibility settings and enable the option that makes your LED flash turn on when you get notifications. And then all you do is just push this little slider up, and what it's doing is it's redirecting the light from your flashlight around the case of the phone. The result is a little uneven, and I'm not sure I can recommend it, but safe to say I definitely didn't know this existed. On the complete other end of the budget spectrum, this is the Speakase. It is a gigantic package housing a pretty massive product, and if the name didn't already give you any hints, this is a suitcase. Sort of. The frame itself is polycarbonate and aluminium and is completely water resistant. But it comes with this Bluetooth speaker, which is premium and high quality in itself, but the real trick up its sleeve is that these 2 products fuse together. The speaker connects directly into the suitcase in a way that's out the way and doesn't really interrupt with how much storage capacity you have available. All your dials and controls can still be used through the suitcase, but here's the kicker. When you close it up, the entire suitcase's interior becomes the sound chamber for the speaker, so the actual richness of the music you get is equivalent to an actual speaker that was this size, and yet you can have that while still having a whole suitcase that you can fill with other stuff. The RGB Ball is basically a disco light for your smartphone. It is cheap, it is cheerful, but it's actually surprisingly bright all things considered, and if a rave is what you wanted and a smartphone is the only tool you've got, then this will do the job just fine. And it comes with a USB Type-C adapter inside the box, but can also work on full-size USB ports. This is the Insta360 Evo. This is a camera that connects directly to your smartphone and works in a way that you might have never seen before. The camera has two primary modes. You've got the 180-degree mode, where the fact that you have two lenses facing you means that you can see in virtual reality and actually relive that experience on your phone thanks to the included VR headset. But then, the Evo can fold inwards, which converts that 180-degree field of view into more or less 360 degrees, giving you the ability to record the entire setting around you without even shifting the camera. It has powerful inbuilt stabilization, and the optional invisible selfie stick disappears when you start using it with the camera, so you can actually record video with a much higher point of view than you'd normally be able to. Okay, so next up is Xiaomi's Yeelight Candela. This is a smartphone controlled lamp, but with a bit of a twist. Instead of opting for bright, bold RGB LEDs, this is an atmosphere lamp. It has a single color and tries to act like some sort of middle ground between technology and history. In the application, you can control brightness with a slider or use any other preset modes built into it. And if you don't want to use your smartphone, you can also control brightness just by rotating the top half of the lamp itself. And what I think is quite interesting is that this product is built with scale in mind. This turning action you see here, that can actually control up to 30,000 of the same product in a nearby vicinity. Completely useless to an average consumer, but at the same time, kinda cool. So now, we have one of the most affordable video rigs for your smartphone. By video rig, I basically mean a tool that allows you to start mounting full-scale video accessories onto it. So for example, you could connect up a microphone, you could connect up one or even two lamps onto it to light up darker scenes, and then the smartphone just slides into the padded area below. There are a number of advantages here. The ability to mount accessories, yes, but also just the ability to grip the phone in a way that you can hold it much more steady. Okay, so as well as the 10 crazy smartphone gadgets I've just shown you, we've got a few more. Slightly less crazy gadgets, but no less potentially useful. Consider this a bonus part of the video. So first up is the phone fin, which is kind of like a better version of a pop socket. You just stick it onto the back of your smartphone and you'll notice that it works a little differently. So what you do is you press down and slide up from the bottom, and what was previously just a strip then becomes a ring. So it can act as a stand if you wanted better viewing angles while watching video. It can act as a mount if you wanted to stick it into the AC vent of your car, and it can also just act as a way for you to stop dropping your phone. Now for a gadget that's a little expensive for the actual materials you're getting here, but as far as a phone stand goes, this is the real deal. This is the Phoneprop, and the quality is definitely a grade above your average silicone import. It's completely waterproof and washable, and the way it's constructed gives you 3 angles you can hold your phone up in, with very little room for wiggling once it's in them. It also allows you to prop your phone up in portrait mode and still have room for the cable underneath. Now, from the same company that brought you the triangular Nanoleaf Aurora lights, this is the Nanoleaf Canvas, which, as well as just turning triangles into squares, is actually an advancement of the technology. The primary new thing here being the fact that these square light panels are actually activated and controlled by touch. The fact that these things have one extra side on them versus the previous triangles also gives you a little bit more in terms of options for arrangement. And as before, you can place them in any order, any arrangement, you can go wild. And the lights are still just as bright, just as vibrant, and just as controllable by the inbuilt application. There is an absolute ton of customization here. So then we've got an accessory that until about 2 weeks ago I had no idea existed, and so you can imagine most people wouldn't even have considered buying one. This is a camera protection ring, and you should be able to find one for pretty much every model of popular smartphone, and I see it having 2 main benefits. You can pick colors of your choice, and it's a new way to give your smartphone a visual overhaul, and more importantly, it protects the cameras when you're on a flat surface. Or just protects it generally, whether it's in a pocket or in a drawer, you name it. If you enjoyed this video, I've got a massive series of smartphone gadgets episodes, so I'll leave them linked from this video. And if you could subscribe, that would be massively appreciated. From start to finish, this video took nearly a whole week to create. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.